Hi, Scott. We're doing something a little special today, a bonus video for our green and red fans. I have next to me a very special person, my nephew, Jeremy Sayers.
What's
Behind
going
us
on,
is his
everybody?
Hey,
behind
Jeremy.
us is his daughter Chesney, my niece.
Hey, Chesney.
And I wanted to talk to him today. I thought this would be kind of cool because we often kind of have these big shows with these very erudite themes. On Wednesday, while the riot was going on, Jeremy posted very poignantly about what he thought about those events, and I think it's particularly important because he's an Air Force veteran. So I just wanted to ask him a few questions about that, and I want to start with the woman who was killed, Ashley, the one who was shot, Ashley Babbitt, I believe was her name, who was an Air Force vet too,
Yep.
roughly at the same time you were. Now, you were in Qatar?
No, I was in PSAT, Prince Sultan Air Base, Saudi Arabia.
Oh, okay, because she had done a couple, but she was in,
Yeah.
I believe, military police or security or something like that, or I can't remember.
Don't remember.
At
off
any
the top
rate,
of my head, no.
and apparently, like, she felt constrained in the military, but as soon as she got out, she became very radicalized. Now, did you see much of that while you were in?
It's funny because I was thinking something very similar to that the other day. Is I'm friends with a lot of people in the military because we're like a family. But the way people act in the military, and now that I've seen them on Facebook and how they truly act, are almost two different things. I saw a lot of self-censorship, so people wouldn't necessarily go all out, but now that they don't have that military burden over their head, I'm gonna get in trouble. Now it's just like, oh my god, I never would have thought that about you guys. Like, horrible extremists. It's ridiculous.
Now, do you think they're kind of like that when they get there? Because I remember we've talked about it. I remember like
Yeah.
in June during the blow-ups in June, when the Secretary of the Air Force, I believe, made a very powerful statement about racial equality. And I remember talking to you about training. You said the training was actually pretty good on that.
Yeah.
So these people just kind of went along with it kind of disingenuously.
Well, that's the thing. A lot of it wasn't necessarily racial. You could definitely tell that now that people didn't have to worry about, if my supervisors or my commanding officers see this, I'm going to get in trouble. A lot of the times you had everybody got along. You didn't see much, but you knew it was there. It was just kind of an unspoken thing. So,
Did you have anything you wanted to ask, Scott? Or okay, kind of fast forward. Now we've seen a lot of kind of right-wing political violence.
yeah.
And a lot of these people are, kind of affecting. I mean, some of them are LARPs, like, right? They're cosplay guys who buy fancy stuff, but some of them are vets.
Like the man, bear, pig.
Yeah, right. And I mean, do you have any sense that there are people who, because what scares me is them more than anything, the kind of
absolutely.
violence there. And I mean, some of these people, might be trained, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So, I mean, were there people, do you have any sense that was kind of, there are a lot of military people who are currently now kind of trying to transfer those skills into the streets?
I could definitely see that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a scary thing. I mean, being in the Air Force during the time that I was, no, we weren't necessarily exactly trained as thoroughly as, say, the Army or Marine Corps, because we kind of sat back on our base and sent our pilots out. Now it's a little different story. So now it's a little scarier because you've got people training with the Army, training with the Marine Corps, going out there and, lasing targets and hand-to-hand combat. And it's like, ooh.
Well, one of the guys who I think's been arrested now on the House floor, who had the zip ties and everything.
Yep.
Wasn't he an Air Force colonel, retired colonel or something?
I can't
Lieutenant
remember
Colonel.
Lieutenant Colonel.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't remember the rank. But yeah, and I read some of that story, and I kind of giggled. He's like, I was going to put him, give him to an officer as soon as I saw one.
Right.
Right. Sure you were.
I found this $10,000 bag of money on the ground.
Yeah.
I'm looking for its rightful owner.
Yeah. I'm like, I'm going to see a lot of BS. And I've seen a lot of stories in mainstream media where it's just like, you guys can do better than that. It's a lot of that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. That's
Yeah.
awful fishy.
Well, one thing also that surprised me is for guys who are allegedly like pretend to be soldiers, they're not very good at this.
No.
I mean, half of them were in there gawking like,
Hmm.
tourists. And another thing that's kind of a little off, but not really, a few weeks ago, Trump pardoned a bunch of people who had committed really ugly
Yep.
war crimes, killing civilians. And
The Blackwater folks.
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
How does that affect, and he's done this with military people too. How does that like, what's the general sense of, in the military about that? Because, when he did that, there was like a real blowback from like the Joint Chiefs of Staff and other
Oh yeah,
military people who
absolutely.
said, look, you're setting us up too.
Right. I can't speak for everyone. I know for me, it really, really, really angered me because I mean they were war criminals. Yes, they didn't serve under, a branch of the military. They were contracted civilians, but all or most of, if not all, had previous military experience. And it's just like, okay, we're done with that. Now we're mercenaries.
Yeah.
So we don't have to follow the Geneva Convention. And it angered me that he set that example where, oh, you can do whatever, and then I'll just give you a free pass when I'm about to leave office. It's really frustrating because that's not what I see the country that I signed to defend all about.
Yeah.
And that's what irritates me. Like like I said in my post, I'm a patriot, I'm a veteran. I love to fly my American flag. However, the last 4 years it's sat in the corner because I'm not proud to be an American right now. With everything going on and just the horrible leadership we have, both Democrat and Republican, it's sickening. And then people, extremists, want to you know raid the Capitol and say, "Oh, this was fine, but Black Lives Matter." No, that wasn't okay. It's sickening.
Now, do you
I
sense
have a
that there
question.
are, I know we've had people on the show from the military who kind of, I see the world very similarly the way you are.
Mhm.
I mean, while you were there, did you have a sense that there were people? I mean,
Oh,
the military
absolutely.
is what, 40% non-white now.
Yeah.
And so, you're around people who don't look like you more
Hmm.
than pretty much anybody in American life.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, do you think there are, I don't know if it's a majority or not, but do you think there are significant numbers of people in the services who really are disgusted by this?
Oh, I would have to say so. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. I would totally agree with that.
Yeah.
Even, a lot of Trump supporters are kind of like backing off now.
Oh, they are?
And from what I've seen, you've got the few that are diehard, but there's some they're like, yeah, I don't know about this
Yeah.
anymore, which is nice to see, but unfortunately, I think that might be the case. They're just quiet about it,
Yeah.
and just very hush hush.
Well, what struck me too is like, the people who've been arrested, you have like, a guy who's like a boat siding salesman. And this one guy's like a failed actor. Another guy's a bartender at Kid Rock's place. And they buy all this like fancy camo and stuff. And,
Or the guy that had Pelosi's podium,
yeah,
a
yeah,
father of 5 from Florida.
yeah.
Like, what example are you setting for your kids?
Yeah. So it's not a crack elite military force, thankfully, right? Chesney, since we have you here, you can make your media debut. You're 16.
Yeah.
And this is the world you're entering. And
Close to adulthood.
yeah. And you're in a family where, political views are very easily expressed. I mean, what did you think of all this? Did it kind of freak you out?
Based off of like things I've seen, they were like videos of how people got reactions from people who invaded the Capitol and all that, and were complaining they got maced, even though they were invading a government like building. Yet people got maced doing simple silent protests for Black Lives Matter, which is very uncomparable. Where the Capitol, they deserve to get maced in all honesty. And so I found it kind of shocking that they were complaining about it.
Your generation has actually kind of stepped up, the
Yeah.
TikTok. So, I mean, do you kind
Yeah.
of, when you talk to your friends, I mean, is there some sense that, this is not a great world and we
Yeah, most of my friends, luckily, we all have like the same point of views. Like
Yeah.
we all agree. Like luckily our generation for the most part's not like very racial and all that.
Yeah.
And I'm lucky to be around the people I am who support like Black Lives Matter and then like equality and all of that.
Well, this is great because, you know, like we often get kind of caught up in talking to people, you know, kind of the same type of people, not like people who are actually in the world and who have these kinds of experiences. So I really appreciate it. And, you know, you guys can put this like on your record now. You can
I will do that.
You can do auditions for, you know, movies and TV shows, and this can be your
Fantastic.
your tape, right?
Yeah.
But Jeremy Sayers, who's my nephew and a great guy, and Chesney Sayers, who is my great niece actually, and amazing artist as well, who's going to be like very famous someday, and take care of the whole family, right?
I hope so.
Yeah. So thanks so much. We really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And
Do
please
you have
share.
any questions, Scott?
No, Bob actually asked the question I was going to ask.
No. Okay then.
Yeah, but I appreciate it, and definitely like share this around.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Once we put it up.
Oh, absolutely. I tell everybody.